Hello, fellow warriors against consensus reality and lovers of truth and wisdom. Time for a video. It's a quite a warm Friday. No, trust me, you do not want this weather. And I thought it was time for a video. It's the unscripted approach to videos is propelled nicely by subject matter which presents itself to us all the time, and I thank the process and all the people concerned for contributing to that. But there we go. A few things. It amazes me how there are people, so-called normal functioning people, who are increasingly slaves to the fear-mongering and the increasingly obedient mindset that the so-called powers that be are working overtime to create at this time. And yes, I'm talking about the scamdemic and the silly masks and hand sanitizer and social distancing and everyone being, most people being good, obedient little gobshites. And if everyone does the right thing, and if all these annoying anti-vaxxers and anti-maskers and tinfoil hat wearing conspiracy theorists all do the right thing, we'll get past this quicker and get back to normal quicker. No. Because they, the so-called fake elites, there's nothing elite about them. They've just got the billions upon billions of dollars and increasingly percentage of the resources. But there's nothing elite about them. Because these psychotic gobshites, I'll call them, don't want it to be back to normal. They're all part of the Fourth Industrial Revolution and the scamdemic and destroying traditional agrarian farming culture, agricultural country, community, society, culture, and replacing it with GMO fake multi-billion-dollar corporate-controlled shite. All part of the reset and all the Agenda 2030 and all that other wonderful crap that some of you actually who did your research and got off your lazy backsides actually are aware of now. And other fellow human beings who are also aware of such topics, such realities, are we're sort of naturally developing into our own parallel society, really. You know it by like-minded people at your local cafe, run by a person who is just this way. And thank goodness that people like her exist. Because it's really quite frustrating to be surrounded by obedient, mindless drones in a meat bag. Really. Mindless, reproducing, consuming biological drones. While those of us who are realizing that really the only way is within and enjoy our own little world increasingly and almost perfectly content to continue in this way. So I find, from my own perspective in my own life, that the parallel society is sort of naturally developing on its own. And no, I'm not talking, I've mentioned it in a previous video for this channel, I'm not talking about getting out there and having our own parallel towns and all this kind of shite, because we've seen time and time again the 60s hippie movement was a good example of this. It never worked. But there you have it. And of course, one of the these fake elites, these psychotic gobshites, have during the last 100 years at least, that I'm aware of through my own personal research, have developed effective ways of psychological manipulation and brainwashing techniques. Yes, part of that was MK Ultra and all this other stuff that they developed along the way, and some of you wonderful people are aware of such things. However, you'll know it by the simple Byzantine creed: divide and conquer. And humanity has been divided and conquered most effectively, unfortunately. And you see it in, especially with Americans, excessive unnatural focus on the fake left versus right, and my personal favorite, black versus white. And even though, as I've said many times, there's actually no white race. I am a different race from someone from England. Oh, fucking dear. And feminism, which of course not only seriously fucked up otherwise wonderful functioning women, and but sort of fooled them into thinking that they were quote-unquote liberated. A lot of these woke, soy-drenched gobshites go on about women during the last 50 years have been liberated. You mean liberated from being the most important member of a traditional household? Liberated from the important role of caring and nurture? Really? Even going back thousands upon thousands of years in any society where community and family was valued, the female had a prime and highly revered and respected position. Right along with the male, the father, the grandfather, the warrior monk, and all the other forms that traditional masculinity expressed itself through via society, traditions, customs, mythologies, and so forth. Different, of course, and different is okay. I think that's one thing that modern humanity has forgotten. Different is okay. But the modern woman has allowed herself to be brainwashed and fucked up and turned around in many different ways, which is why there are so many people who are no longer content, let alone happy with their lives. And the recent American political farce gives a good example of not only how easily manipulated people are, but how effective this psychotic gobshite strategy of brainwashing and divide and conquer, and importantly, especially in popular culture and entertainment, via the whole woke / SJW agenda, which of course is a purposely created mechanism for the above mentioned, in case you don't know. The brainwashing process is carrying on most effectively, and a lot of these people who are unfortunately brainwashed by the SJW / woke, for example, think they're actually speaking for equality and inclusion and representation. That's the favorite buzzword, right? Oh, let's protect social media from the evil, far-right, hateful, conservative, Trump voting, blah, 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 blah. You're talking out of your backside. You're not being an enlightened, educated, informed person. You're being a clueless, brainwashed gobshite. You need to get your head out of your backside. Clear your ears out from all the shit. And actually think, perhaps for the first time in your fucking life. And even... I do like to use this as an example, considering my recent adventures in MGTOW. The idea of quote unquote white men were late to the party, talking about various shit and how the black man traditionally went through a lot of difficulties and now white men, it's painful to listen to. It really is. It really is. And that's another example of being thoroughly brainwashed by this divisive, psychotic, gobshite strategy of divide and conquer. Because not only does the meatbag we currently inhabit not constitute a person's true self, but especially the amount of skin pigmentation and the colour of a person's skin pigmentation has even less effect on a person's true, authentic self. And so when, especially the latter, when I come across it in any forms, considering the experiences I myself have experienced living in this country and being a first-generation migrant into this country, I find it amusing and head-scratchingly stupid. Being a Hellene myself, a non-English speaker, coming into this predominantly Anglo country and area and high school, yeah, the racism was not fun. Oh no, I don't have dark skin, yet I experienced racism from people with similar pale skin. Oh fucking dear, what shall we do? It goes against our brainwashed little fucking mindset. Can you hear can you feel and perhaps hear the inner brain explosion right now? Wake up, fuckers! You're all being played. We as a human family, who are the have-nots, are all being played. Wake the fuck up. My own country, we've only known relative peace since 1974. And I'm talking 2.5, in the span of 2,500 plus years. Put that in your pipe and smoke it. And yes, I'm talking about being a slave in our own country for 400 years. Let alone someone who is a Romany gypsy, perhaps. Ask them what they've been through during the last 2,000 years. As a member of the human family, we have all been through crap. We have all been enslaved and controlled and ruled and abused by someone somewhere along the way. It forms part of the human experience. And you need to disconnect from the matrix, from the illusion machine, to actually be able to clear your thinking, gain clarity, and perhaps be able to use your fucking brain and faculties for the first time in your fucking life. It's possible. We all can do it. We just need to disconnect and do our own thing. Disconnect from the great machine, quote unquote. I've come across many people in my YouTube channel Travelled who are thankfully well on their way, and it is a pleasure to communicate with them via comments and so forth. You people are fucking legends. So be well, be wise, be courageous, and be honest. Alright? The Mind Traveller on guitar. Out.